I've never seen a diamond in the flesh. I cut my teeth on wedding rings.
Dude, that's pretty cool.
Man, that is a sad clown.
Dude, that's pretty good.
This is The Glue, bringing you weekly interviews with F3 Omaha Packs, exploring their F3 experiences and finding those sticky elements that create the glue in the gloom.
We got another exciting guest on the show. This guy has been doing F3, I think, for almost 4 years now. He'll have to tell us once we get going here, but was recently at Fight Q at the Pit in Sarpy. And man, it's good to see you, Gipper. It's been a while. You look good. Yeah. I'm just glad we got
Thank
this.
You.
Why don't you tell us, though, where we like to start off is just from the beginning. Who aged you? When was your first workout? And then how did we land on the name Gipper?
Yeah. So it was Lemon Law who invited me out. He told me about it sometime in beginning of April of 2018. And he was like, hey, there's this workout group that's starting in a couple weeks. I think you might like it. You know, I've done it in Greensboro, and it's a boot camp workout. And when he said boot camp, I was like, I don't know about that. I was hesitant. So I came out. My first workout was actually the second official week of F3 Omaha. So I was like April, 20 something. So second week there at the Oracle, pretty much the second workout at F3 Omaha. It was bluegrass, his VQ, and of course wait time was there and stuff. And it was a pretty intense workout. And I just remember going through it. I was like, this is horrible. I don't know if I ever want to come back to this. And I was like, I'm just going to get through it and I'll be done. At least I can say I did it. And that following all that week, I was just like, oh man. Well, first of all, I was just sore as heck could be that next day, that Sunday. I was like, this is not good. And as the week went on, I was like, you know what? I don't know. It was okay. Maybe I'll give it one more shot. So I went the next Saturday at the Oracle. I can't remember who cued it, but it went fine. I was like, hey, this is great. And, you know, it just seemed a good camaraderie, good fellowship, and it kind of just stuck from there. So definitely Lemon Law was the guy who got me going and, you know, teaching me the lingo. And he actually was, you know, co-cued with me when I did my VQ for the first time there in October of 2018. And just kind of been a big influence on me with F3. And I know it was very sad to see him move to Kearney, but, you know, always look forward when I go visit him to do a little K-Town beatdowns out there in Kearney, Nebraska. So, but yeah, in terms of the name, Gipper, I was totally not expecting it. After that workout, you know, just stepping in the middle there, just telling who I am and where I came from, I was expecting, you know, okay, big Creighton fan, probably, you know, something related to that or pharmacy related, you know, since in the pharmacy field and, you know, or something from Council Bluffs, you know, I'm sure guys could come up with something funny from that. But it was actually Lemon Law who shouted out he likes Notre Dame football. And that got everybody on the same page, you know, Domer, Newt Rockney, you know, whatever was coming out, Touchdown Jesus. And then I can't remember if I wore the sweatshirt that day or the week after, but the win one for the Gipper sweatshirt, it must have been just destiny or whatever, but Gipper came out and kind of stuck from there. So I guess I'm lucky that I got a nickname that I like and not an embarrassing nickname. So yeah, so that's, that's how it came to be. Nothing as cool as other people's nicknames, but pretty good. I've enjoyed it.
Man, touchdown Jesus would have been good. That would have been
that would have been really. I would like. Yeah, that would have been a fun one.
I like that.
Well, I didn't even know what Gipper meant. I'm not hip with Notre Dame lingo.
Yeah, George Gipp, the famous Notre Dame football player from, oh gosh, what is that, 20s or so, 30s. He was probably a All-American, bright future, and then he got dismissed from the team. Fun fact I learned not too long ago, he actually got dismissed from Notre Dame football. He got kicked out of school because I believe he was betting on games. But he was so good that they reinstated him a couple days later because they needed him. But George Gipp, big time All-American football player, unfortunately died young. I believe it was some virus or pneumonia or something like that. But of course, you have the famous movie Newt Rockne All-American with Ronald Reagan playing George Gipp, and that's kind of the big, the big aspect of Gipper. And of course, win one for the Gipper. A lot of people hear that, or coming from that very famous speech that Rockne had to his team. So.
Gotcha. No, that's cool. That's good to know. Well, I kind of want to circle back. You mentioned something, and I don't even think a lot of guys pick up on this, but especially for the really, really old OGs, right? The Redwoods, the guys who started on the second week. You're kind of describing this phenomenon where you have essentially a whole week goes by before you have to make a commitment to go and post again, right? And that's not really something that a lot of the FNGs have now. They have options galore. They can go to 5 different sites the next day if they want to. So that kind of just speaks to the growth of the group as a whole. I'm curious on if your thoughts on it. You've got to witness a lot in those 4 years.
Yeah, definitely. It's pretty amazing to see how much F3 has grown in this area, especially Sarpy County wise. When originally starting out, once a week on a Saturday, and then they had a Murph, and then they had maybe a Cornhusker handicap, and there was that Thirsty Thursdays there on Thursday afternoons, and but yeah, having that whole week to kind of just think about it, and it's nowadays it's like, oh, you work out this day, come back the next day, or come back here, and and I don't know if that makes people more excited or like, no, we're going to hold off, and then they kind of just lose track where, when you're, I don't know, like for me personally, like when I'm not in the gloom, like I should say this, I am not one of those guys who go every day. I should go more often than I do, more than once a week, but I've been just a Saturday guy, and, sprinkle in some Tuesdays or Mondays or whatever days in the middle. But it's when you're not in the gloom and you're watching those Nameramas, days when I'm sick or I can't make it or whatever. And I'm like, I really miss the guys and just that fellowship and suffering through a workout. It's something that brings you back. So that first week where you have that whole week to think about it, and you're like, well, this is really neat, you know, and I might try it again. You know, I kind of like the group, and you know, and then you have, you know, a good friend like Lemon Law, and they're kind of just, you know, if he can do it, I can do it, you know, type of attitude. So it was kind of nice to have that week to kind of just let it kind of sink in, where, you know, now this guy's just, you know, every day, you know, they could go, and, you know, that might be good or bad. Who knows? I'm not sure how that would be effective if I came into it now. But definitely interesting.
Who knows? Maybe the answer is somewhere in between, right? Absence
that could be
creates longing or desire, right? So maybe that full week makes you miss it again. But then there is something about having the next day, hey, you want to go tomorrow? Like some sense of urgency, getting guys committed to go the next day kind of can do it for people. I know Noto's after I did my VQ, texted me the next day to get, hey, when are you wanting the queue next? Because he knew, like, hey, you're creating this sense of urgency. They're on this high. They've got this really good feeling. Let's keep them coming, keep them plugged in. So that's interesting.
Right.
So curious, I mean, we can back up a little bit. Where do you think you were at in terms of your first step journey, the fitness aspect? Were you working out at the time, running? What were you doing in your spare time?
So I hate running. I really do. You know, running for me consisted of, you know, maybe if I feel like it and a friend asks me, maybe I'll run a little bit. But the most I've ever ran was probably like 3 miles. And that was like one time, maybe twice in college because of a friend who liked to run. Before that, you know, it was like, okay, I played baseball and maybe we have to run a mile here or there or do some conditioning, but very short distance. And then basketball, you know, you're doing conditioning, but, you know, short distances. So long distance running wasn't there for me. Otherwise, like I had a membership to Blue Moon Fitness, and then the Planet Fitness. I had a membership for that right before F3, and, you know, it was okay, but it was just hard getting motivated to go. I needed someone to push me. I needed someone to hold me accountable to get just to work out. And I would just be doing weights or whatever. You know, push-ups, you know, I could barely do 10 push-ups. So kind of just starting out like, okay, little running. Okay. You know, doing some push-ups, squats, you know, things like that. Not bad. And then, you know, getting over time and, you know, getting used to that, and doing some challenges at home, like Plague, I think you did. I can't remember if it was some challenge a couple of years ago, like in the month of February. I think it was like a plank challenge or something. I ended up doing that and got to the 5-minute plank, and it was really kind of cool to do that. And then my wife and I started up a monthly challenge after that, like trying to do 100 push-ups by the end of March, and then 100 air squats by the end of April. So it was kind of nice to do that. And, you know, now in terms of running wise, I'd have to give a lot of props to all the Sarpy guys. Firewalker, John Claude, Chernobyl, you know, all those guys who just love to run. Those guys who I had on the queue to do the pit all of last year, I think we were averaging probably about 3 miles every workout. And, you know, just running around the pit, it's a pretty big area. And I know Swiper had us running all the way to 72nd Street and running underneath the bridge to the other side of the creek and back. And I think that was a 5-mile journey that hour. But so definitely I think my stamina has gotten a lot better in the 4 years. And running wise has gotten a lot better too. You know, if I can try not to incorporate a lot of running in my workouts, I do, but I don't mind it anymore. You know, one aspect that I really, really appreciate of F3 is no one's judging you at all. you can do push-ups on your knees. You can modify, you can jog, you can walk, whatever. People don't care. They just want you to keep on moving, keep on working out, keep on coming out. And that was really key for me to keep on, working at it. Am I, Mr. Superstar, push-ups galore? No, but I do a lot more now than I have in the past, and I'm more motivated to work out. So it's kind of nice. And, even working out at home, with the kids sometimes, seeing their motivation and doing, what it balls to the wall or pickle pushes at home or tunnel of love at home. It's just it's cool to see them excited about it. And it gives me a workout, as well. So it's pretty fun. So definitely first step journey. It's been a amazing journey and definitely good for me. And hopefully I get to pick it up a little more, as the years go on, maybe picking up more weekday hours, weekday workouts, and trying to force myself to get up in the morning earlier than I like to.
I remember several cues that you led Gipper where you did foot fires, essentially like shuffle the feet and then drop and do some burpees. Man, those are good. You could throw those in.
I haven't done that in a while. I should incorporate that back. I tried to submit that to the F3 Nation Exicon.
Oh yeah.
Named as Gipper foot fires. Just doing the foot fires and dropping down or pivoting left and right. It never made it, but I'm gonna have, I should incorporate more into that. I love doing the Steinel. I love doing Tunnel of Love and Bridge of Hate. I for a while, I kind of considered myself the wait time of the South. Just because I think I'm the only one in Sarpy County who incorporates the Steinel.
Nice.
So, of course, I never had wait time come down to a workout when I cued, but we'll have to get that going. But or maybe I come back to the Oracle and do a Steinel for them. So.
I love that. That's awesome. I hope wait time is listening, because wait time, that's your call to action, brother. You got to get down to the South. And it could just be that you're doing such a good job representing. I am curious. So you mentioned your routine over the last 3-4 years has been a Saturday guy mostly, right? What's been your experience? Because a lot of the guys we talk to or just interact with on the podcast, right there, they talk about going to coffee and doing pre-runs and some of these kind of key pieces to engage in that second F, but you kept coming back. You built a lot of great friendships. So curious what for you has been the experience from a fellowship perspective. Where are you finding the opportunity to connect with other guys?
Well, definitely Lemon Law, as I touched on, being a big influence. Before he moved out to Kearney, it was, we would, since, his wife and my wife were best friends, we would see each other a lot. And we were talking, about the Gloom and, where did you went to the Dragons today? I was at the pit. This is what happened, and just kind of, talk about it. And then, just seeing all the guys there, like I enjoyed talking to Bluegrass or Kurds or Wait Time and all the, room service, getting to know guys' stories and, you're watching the name around is just kind of just keeps it wanting to get back. And when you're in the Gloom and talking to them and, sharing, a tough workout with them, side by side, it's really cool. And I don't go to too many cafeterias as much as I probably would like to, trying just to get home and, by the time kids wake up and just being at home with the kids and since, being at work all week, trying to keep the Saturdays and Sundays with them. But the times I've gone out, like, doing Q source at the pit, whether it's physically there at the pit or at Hy-Vee. It was kind of nice to chat with people more, or spending time after a workout talking to people. That's what I really liked, especially like at the beginning of F3 Omaha. People would just be at the Oracle for another 15, 20 minutes before they head to coffee. And it was just kind of nice to talk to people, or just like running. Like I remember running with Gunner or CSI and just get to know their stories. And that was really fun. And, or like, I think Ponzi had some party at some place out in West Omaha, or going down to Lincoln for visiting Waffle House when he was down there and having a birthday party. And, so having some of those opportunities to do that, it's been special. And, definitely I would, hopefully as the years go on, get a little bit more opportunities to go, depending on, how kids' schedules and all that stuff go in the future. But yeah, it's doing all that has been fulfilling, even if I can't go to actual cafeteria.
Yeah. Well, and I want to kind of zoom in a little bit on something that I hear you saying, right? Because I think some guys, right, they come out and they just assume that everybody there goes to an F3 workout every day of the week. And that's not the case, right? We have some guys that are 6 days a week. We have some guys that are, every Saturday. Some guys are 3-4 days. But I think, you've done something unique in that you continue to come out the day that works for you and for your family, and still found it helpful and built relationships. Whereas I think some guys feel like, well, if I can't go every day, then I'm not going to participate at all. So what do you think it's been for you that's kind of kept you coming back, even though you're not able to go every day? Is it just you like the workout, or I guess, I don't know, tell me, because I think your approach has been different than what I feel like I've seen other guys do, which is good. Yeah.
I think it's, just the guys, everyday guys that I love to, come to a workout to see, you or Pony or, Ponzi or, room service. I can name 100 guys, just going out and see them. And, even some of the new guys, it's just like, or like even someone on the queue, like, hey, Wentworth is queuing at the pit. I want to go there, and just supporting people. And when I don't go, when I do miss a Saturday because of illness or something else happens, I'm like, okay, who's there? I want to check out these Namaramas. And it hurts when I don't go, because I think it is that fellowship. It doesn't have to be a fellowship outside of the workout or cafeteria. It's that fellowship when you get into the workout and you're doing it with someone. And it's that accountability where it's like, yeah, I'm just a Saturday guy, but that being just a Saturday guy is important because that's my only day. And if I miss that day, I feel like I'm missing like a big piece of me is missing. So I think that's the thing that keeps me coming out, is the guys in the gloom, just sharing a workout with them, and just talking to them, saying hi and seeing how their families are.
Yeah, man, I love that, because I think what I hear you saying is like just the workout itself, right? Like there's a ton of fellowship, and just the idea of like doing something challenging with a group of guys, it creates this, sense of belonging and a sense of fellowship that you don't even need to say a whole lot, right? But you're there, you're in that space, you're kind of, have a shared mission or a shared goal, and that creates a second half. I don't know that we hear that as much, but it's definitely it's there for all of us, right? It just maybe something that we overlook. So I appreciate you sharing that, because I think that perspective is really important to not miss, that like there's fellowship just anytime we get together. So I appreciate that. Pony, what's in your mind?
Yeah, I'm just, I kind of want to circle back to what you said. And I agree with you, Plague. I like that you're highlighting, hey, the journey for everyone doesn't need to be you're an everyday poster, right? It's, hey, one time a week, a couple times a week. We've had multiple conversations on what that flux looks like for guys, whether you're having kids, whether it just fits your schedule. But I think it's important too that, you kind of took on a leadership role, knowing that, hey, I'm a 1 day a week. I post at the pit. This is my place every Saturday. And you were even able to have a leadership opportunity with that schedule. So I think that's encouraging. I think a lot of people that may be looking for leadership opportunities within the group may think that, hey, I've got to be this guy that's posting every single day to even have an opportunity to lead. And that's just not the case, right? We're looking for leaders who are ready to lead and willing to lead. And so, I think you're a perfect example of that. Maybe we could kind of segue to talk a little bit about your leadership at the pit. Maybe how you were approached, whether or not you thought you were ready or not, and just your overall experience of leading the pit.
Yeah. Of course, all started back when the Plague told me about his idea of opening up AO in Sarpy County and in Papillion, and which excited me because, the pit's only 6-7 minutes away from my house. So I was like, hey, this is great. I just roll out of bed and go right there. And I knew at some point, down the road that, maybe I'd get to be a leader or something like that, which really didn't excite me at first. I'm not a leader. I'm more of a follower. I'm very quiet, pretty shy type of guy. And so, Gunner got to take the reins after the Plague. And then, before we switched, there and, Gunner approached me and he was like, a couple months in advance, he was like, hey, would you like to be the site Q at the pit? And I was like, kind of like, maybe, but I was like, I feel like I couldn't say no. And because, the pit's in my backyard and, it's something that, it'd be an honor. So I was like, I'm going to do it. It's going to get out of my comfort zone. We'll be fine. And, ask Gunner a lot of questions. And he got me prepared well. And then, of course, I injured my shoulder playing softball. So we had to delay the shovel pass for a month. And but once we shovel passed it and became site Q, it was exciting. It was really cool to have that responsibility and hold the shovel flag. And it seemed like a big task at first because and I had a lot of ideas. I feel like I have to do everything, a whole bunch of third Fs, and I feel like I have to bring coffee and donuts all the time. And it just Gunner kind of sent the ball high with the donuts and coffee, but I learned quickly is like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to. So a lot of guys out there who are on the fence, you don't have to supply coffee. You don't have to supply donuts. No, your job is to organize things, keep things running smoothly, get those cues on the schedule, and promote the site, and keep the Twitter going. And it was fine. And once I got into a good routine, getting guys scheduled, a lot of the Sarpy guys picked up a lot of cues, and I sprinkled myself in there a few times, especially, I couldn't find anyone, and it worked out great. I enjoyed it. It was a good way to force myself to do a winter workout. I tend to stay inside if it's a blizzard or if it's minus, even if it's like below 10 degrees. I'm like, no, I think I'll stay in. Easy just to, cut onto those blankets and just be cozy. But no, it was good to force myself to be uncomfortable, get in that below zero weather. Really just turn things
I agree with that
Yes.
100%. I joke that when I passed a flag, I became a fair weather poster. I just don't have a reason to be out in the crap anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to highlight a couple things. I think that you broke it down very well for the guys that are listening. There are some core tenets, right, to being a site Q and to take on a leadership role. Yeah, your primary focus is to make sure that there's someone to lead the workout. Like, you have a little bit of foresight, you're making sure you're planning out a little bit ahead. But then, as you kind of noted, leadership kind of takes on many different forms. It depends on what the leader is. Gunner is, it's coffee and donuts every day. Your leadership may look different than Gunner's, but provided that you're hitting kind of the main requirements of the site Q, it's really up to you. And so I really love that. And I think guys come in thinking, well, I've got to do what the last guy did or expand upon what he did. And that's not true. And it's great to get new leaders to come in that can expand upon it, but it's also great to encourage guys just to lead in their own way. So I certainly appreciate that. I guess dovetailing that comment on guys coming in and expanding on former side Qs, what did successorship look like for you?
Successorship, I was, trying to think about, okay, who would be the next person to lead the pit? Who would be who has those qualities? And I had a few guys in mind, and this kind of went back and forth. And Firewalker talked to me about it one day. He was like, he asked me he's like, what do you think about Chernobyl? And I was like, I think he would be a perfect fit. And he's been amazing as the pit site Q. Like, even when I was still Q, I was, he was born to be a leader. And I noticed that even before we passed the shovel, like, he would step up, he would, pick up the 6, and, he does such a good job down there now, just leading them and getting people on the queue. And he's recently getting a whole bunch of DC guys coming down to Sarpy. I think we have Slow Pitch coming down on Saturday. And so he was, I think he just got done doing like a canned food drive or something like that for push-ups, or not pull-ups. So how many canned foods could guys bring in, and it equals how many pull-ups he does. And I think it was well over 300 or so, but which he probably could crank out in, like, I don't know, 30 minutes. But and even like incorporating a little snake skin, with the pit being the snake pit, a little snake skin, shedding your snake skin, guys who have accelerated with F3, and he's incorporated that, and I think that's a fantastic idea. So I think the pit's in great hands, Chernobyl, and there's a lot of new Sarpy guys that, even after Chernobyl, the pit's going to go on for a long time. And it's really grown so much since we first started. And of course, it's the pit who was, the original AO in Sarpy County, if you want to call it that. It's kind of like the Oracle, and then things just blossomed from there. And you got so many sites in Sarpy County now. So things look good.
So talk just a little bit about the third F, that faith piece for you. What's been your journey? Because one of the things that I think you said that I disagree with, you said that you're not a leader, and I strongly disagree with that, because I see you as a leader, right? You're leading your family really, really well. You lead at work. You've led, in our community. So, but some of that's maybe a spiritual growth journey. I don't know, but what's been your third F journey the last couple of years?
Yeah, it's definitely growing. Still a lot of room for improvement. Thank you, by the way, the compliments about that. Yeah, you're right. That's, leading the family, being a leader at work. And, even when you're, queuing, you're leading the group, and they look to you to, try to make it as difficult as you can, and, able to modify as you can. And so it's a little daunting at first, but, once you get into it, it's easier. So a lot of you guys out there who more followers, not leaders. It's a difficult transition, but it's a rewarding transition. But yeah, third F wise, it's been good. The circle of trusts. It's kind of nice to hear other people share what's on their mind, whether it's something, an inspiration, a quote, something about their past. It's been great, and I've incorporated more. I've tried to be uncomfortable a lot in that circle of trust, and just because of other guys able to share their message. And I wanted to hey, I suffer from anxiety, and if you suffer anxiety, you're not alone. So it's kind of nice to being able to open up a lot more with that. And also from a spiritual standpoint, hearing some guys, just talk about God or talk about faith. I know it doesn't matter if you're religious or not in F3. There's so many different things for that third F that you can do, but it's been an inspiration for me spiritually. Seeing all these other, like my brothers in the gloom who talk about it, it makes me open up more about that. Along with as a practicing Catholic, it's been nice to hear other people's faith journeys, whether they're Catholic or Christian or whatever, and incorporating that in with other things that I've, other groups that I'm in, Bible study groups, other groups, or even with my wife, and family, just trying to become a better leader spiritually for my family, letting my kids see, hey, dad's doing this, dad's leading us in this. And that's been a big transition too, with marriage. I never thought I would be a spiritual leader or anything like that in my family. I'm like, okay, whatever. But with my wife and my kids, and then having a lot of other guys share that, it's been great. And it's been a good complement to everything else.
Yeah, that's really cool. And that, to me, that is that's our mission, right? Reinvigorating male community leadership, right? How do we give you the confidence through a workout, something that seems really similar or simple but how do we help you build confidence so you can lead your family well? I want to be respectful of your time, because I know you've got some obligations with the kids, but just thinking about, when when guys see you out there, what could we say that would be encouraging to you? I know you just mentioned kind of anxiety. So I just appreciate you coming on, talking to us. I'm sure this isn't maybe your favorite thing to be doing. But what else? What could we be thinking about, praying about, or just asking you about to be encouraging to you?
Just, when guys come up and say, hey, I've been there, I've done that, thank you so much for sharing. I've had, numerous text messages or people coming up to me after a COT or a Q source or whatever, and they just start sharing their message. And it's just been so nice to hear that. So having other people come up to you after that, and it's been reaffirming. And so it's nice to see that encouragement, and hey, we'll pray for you, or you have guys who say, hey, we're praying for you, whatever it's, mental health, or we just had a newborn son, so it's hey, we're praying for you for that. So it's just kind of nice when people just come up to me and say, hey, we're here with you. We're going along this journey with you. And because we've done it before.
Absolutely. No, that's good. How many kids do you have now? You said another
5.
one? Okay.
5. Yeah. We just had a baby boy. So
okay.
2.5.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other advice or words of wisdom or anything that maybe we didn't cover that you would want to share?
Um, I, I'm, I have to give a big shout out to Wait Time. It, if it wasn't for him, F3 Omaha, might not be here, or it might have taken a longer time. So very grateful for Wait Time. I'm grateful for Lemon Law for sure. Um, it was him, who got me out to do this. And I'm grateful for my wife as well. She was the one who keeps on pushing me to go. So, for all those guys out there who, came and, were on the fence, and, might not want to come back, or, do it. Just keep on coming. Keep on encouraging others to come out. It's a lot of fun. It's tough at the beginning, but after that first workout, it gets easier, and it's fun to be with your brothers in the gloom. That's right there.
Heck yeah, that's well said, man. Well, we'll take us out in Namarama. I'll start us off here. Brandon Fleardy, 36, The Plague.
Plague.
I'm John Whitworth, 31, Pony Express.
Pony.
Mark Farage, 37, Gipper. Win one for the Gipper, boys.
Win one for the Gipper. Nice.
Thanks, brother.
This is fun.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a good day.
Appreciate you.
You too, guys.
Mm-hmm.